Change your heart, change your life, change the planet.
Hey everybody, it's Tim Van Orton. Today I want to talk about a quote I got in my inbox. Quitters never win, and winners never quit. What do you think about that quote? Is it good advice or is it bad advice? Well, I think it's bad advice, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I'm dealing with an injury, and it's not just an injury to my foot, but it's an injury to my goals. It's an injury to my sense of identity. It's an injury to my project, my personal project. And that's important to acknowledge, because I've built habits, I've built ways of expressing myself, and I've built little things along the way that I can win at consistently. And this helps give me a sense of efficacy, because we don't live in a vacuum. We live in the world, and we need to feel like we're able to have an effect in that world, that we're able to change things, even if they're small things. We need to feel like we can move things forward. We need to feel like we can have an effect. So I have to take into consideration that my personal project has been interrupted, and that I'm not going to be able to have those same types of wins that I had before. But if I keep pushing forward the way that I know how, not only am I likely to keep the injury from healing or progressing properly, but more importantly, I'm going to create a psychological injury, because I'm going to continually measure my previous self related to my personal project to my current self related to that project. And it's not going to feel as good. It's going to feel not even like the second string or plan B. It's going to feel like plan D or maybe even F. And this is a time for gentleness when you're dealing with an injury to body and to personal project. And if you don't acknowledge that, if you don't allow for this gentle transition and trying to find ways that can nurture you, fill you up, and give you a sense of efficacy in the midst of project disruption or identity disruption, if you can't make that your project, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to struggle. And I've seen this with many people and myself, and it's one of the things that I'm dealing with right now as I try to create a new project and allow my old project, fitness, running fast, to sit in the background. So I'm not trying to keep the same fitness. I'm not trying to keep the same training intensity or volume, just switching it over to other types of cross-training, because that doesn't feel good. I've got the same volume, I've got the same intensity, but I don't have the same reward. So the amount of work and the amount of emotional intensity that I experience is greater because I'm not getting the reward of engaging in it. So intensity and volume are relative. If I'm able to run in mountains every day and be out on the trails every day, that's intense and there's a lot of volume there, but there's more reward than punishment. So the net result is that I come home feeling better. But if I'm engaging in cross-training activities, same volume, same intensity, I don't get the same level of reward, and what happens is my tank gets emptier and emptier and emptier until I'm finally burned out. And now I'm left with an injury to my body, and an injury to my habits, and an injury to my sense of continuity, an injury to my sense of stick-to-itiveness. Because now I start to feel like a failure. I start to feel like a guy that can't get it done because I'm trying to do something that's too big for the return on investment. So we need to think about return on investment. So when you're injured, your project is disrupted, okay, it's a bummer, but instead of trying to keep it going, to keep that investment alive, just gently nurture that investment. Keep it going a little bit, but not so much that you're emptying the tank each time you do it. So you got to bring the volume down. You've got to bring the intensity down. And you've got to create another project that allows you to fill the tank up. If those cross-training activities are not tank filling to you, and for me, the vast majority of them are not, they're just hard work with no reward, If that's not working, I need to find something else. So that's been my project, is finding things that nurture me, finding things that fill me up, so that when the injury is done, I can slowly, gently transition back into my previous project. Or maybe even modify it. Maybe turn it into a hybrid of what the project was, combined with what I've been doing in the transition, and then move forward with a new version of that product or project. So that's something that I'd like for you to consider if you're dealing with an injury, if you're dealing with a disruption of personal project identity. And in these situations, winners, it's not that they quit, but it's that they reevaluate and they turn the dial down a little bit. Quitters never win? Well, that's not true, because sometimes you have to let something go in order to get through a difficult period so you can come out the other side. But if you don't ever allow yourself to quit something that's not working or something that's draining the tank, you will fail. So the idea of winners never quit and quitters never win, not buying it. I think it applies this much of the time, and it really doesn't say much about the person that's engaged in it. It's simply an observance of certain types of people in certain types of situations and certain types of environments. And you really can't get much from that. So the next time somebody says this to you, say, yeah, and go nurture yourself into a new project, a new identity. Okay? Hope there's value there for you. This is definitely valuable to me as I transition into the next phase. And it's also exciting because there's new possibility there. I'm not just trying to bail water out of a sinking ship, hoping that someday I can take it out on the high seas again. I'm building a new ship. And there's uncertainty there, but at the same time, there's a whole sea of new possibility. All right, see ya.